My younger brother snatched my daughter's gift and sneered, "Cheap, filthy trash," then hurled it straight into her face at his own birthday party. My parents just smirked. I didn't argue. I'm Magnolia Reed, 41, single mom, remote cybersecurity consultant pulling $128K a year. For 9 years, I'd been covering my parents' mortgage and loaned my brother Garrett $85K to open his craft brewery in Georgetown, Seattle, his 2020 Audi Q5 as collateral. I pulled the plug, repossessed the Audi, and said, "From today, you're on your own." He thought I was bluffing until everything vanished. Grab your popcorn and hit subscribe if your family ever treated you like their personal piggy bank, because what happened next was an absolute meltdown. 7 years ago, Garrett walked into my Capitol Hill townhouse with a glossy pitch deck. He was 29, fresh off another failed venture, and his eyes sparkled like he'd struck oil. The pages showed craft IPAs, nitro stouts, a taproom in Georgetown, prime real estate near the Boeing plant. He rattled off numbers. Startup costs $85K, break even in 20 months, profit margins at 35%. I sat at my dining table while my daughter Ivy sketched at the breakfast bar, and he slid the binder across like it was a Powerball ticket. He'd been couch surfing for 8 months after his last gig managing a Whole Foods produce section fell through. Every other month brought a new dream. Food truck, vape lounge, now brewing. I'd heard it all before, but this time he brought actual financial projections, market analysis. He said the Audi Q5, 2020 model parked in my driveway, could secure the loan if I co-signed. I hesitated. My divorce had finalized 3 years earlier, and finances were finally stable. Remote cybersecurity paid well, $128K annually. No commute, no daycare scramble, flexible hours. But Garrett kept pushing. Family supports family. We met Leland Foster downtown the following Tuesday. Leland spelled out the terms, clean and straightforward. 5.8% interest, $1,650 monthly, principal due in 5 years, full title on the Audi as collateral. Garrett signed fast, pen scratching loud in that hushed office. I added my signature below, pulse hammering but hand steady. The dealership transferred the car that same afternoon. He drove off grinning, windows down, stereo blasting. First 8 months ran smooth. Payments hit my account on the first, automatic transfer, no chasing. He texted photos, fermentation tanks gleaming, tap handles lined up, chalkboard menus advertising Emerald City Pale Ale. The brewery's Instagram climbed to 3,200 followers. He posted stories of midnight brew sessions, grain dust on his flannel, grinning like he'd won the lottery. I forwarded receipts to Leland, who nodded approval during quarterly check-ins. Then the texts slowed. 1 month became 2. I called. He blamed supply chain issues, said malt prices had tripled. Another month passed. No payment. I drove to Georgetown unannounced. The taproom door was locked mid-afternoon, lights off, dust settling on the glassware. Garrett answered his phone from a dive bar patio, voice loose with whiskey. "Market slow, Mags. Give it time." I reminded him about the Audi. He laughed it off. Meanwhile, the mortgage for Mom and Dad kept draining my checking, $1,850 every first like clockwork. Dad's heart medication ate half their Social Security, and Mom still worked part-time at the Ballard Fred Meyer, ringing up groceries. Their fridge stayed stocked, heating worked, internet never blinked. I told myself it was temporary. Garrett would catch up. My colleague Roxanne caught me during a virtual stand-up one Friday. We'd been pair coding since the pandemic hit, 2 single moms trading memes between sprint reviews. She noticed the bank alerts on my shared screen. "You're bankrolling the whole crew," she said bluntly. "That brewery dream? It's a black hole." I waved her off. Garrett was family. Blood doesn't default. She just raised an eyebrow and muted her mic. I kept the auto-pays running. Ivy asked why Uncle Garrett never came by anymore. I said he was busy building something important. She nodded, went back to painting watercolor landscapes on recycled cardboard. The fermentation tanks in Georgetown stayed cold. I'd reserved a table at Carnley's for Garrett's birthday, but he said he was swamped. That evening, I spotted his private gathering photos on Instagram, at Mom and Dad's Ballard bungalow. Ivy saw the same post and wouldn't drop it. She clutched the wooden shadow box she'd been crafting after school for 5 solid months. Garrett's name burned into the frame, Mount Rainier silhouette etched along the border, glass front protecting tiny dried wildflowers she collected on our Olympic Peninsula hikes. "Uncle Garrett has to see it in person," she insisted, eyes pleading. I sighed, grabbed my keys, and we drove the 25 minutes to North Seattle. Their block looked unchanged, weathered craftsman houses, moss-covered roofs, Mom's wind chimes tinkling in the breeze. Cars packed the driveway, cousins I hadn't seen in forever, neighbors from the old days. Garrett had strung Edison bulbs across the backyard deck, folding tables loaded with Costco sheet cake and Rainier beer. Music pumped from outdoor speakers. Ivy hopped out before I killed the engine, shadow box tucked under her arm like treasure. We stepped through the side gate. Garrett stood center stage in a new Patagonia vest, beer in hand, laughing with a cluster of buddies. Ivy walked straight up. "Happy 36th, Uncle Garrett." She held the shadow box high. He glanced down, smirk forming. "What's this?" He flipped it open, peered at the pressed wildflowers arranged in careful patterns. Then he snorted. "Homemade junk. Worthless." Before anyone processed what was happening, he hurled the shadow box straight into Ivy's face. Glass shattered against her forehead, wooden frame scraping her cheekbone. She stumbled backward, pieces clattering across the deck planks. The yard froze. Dad looked up from his patio chair, pill organizer clipped to his shirt pocket, and just chuckled under his breath. Mom, wiping barbecue sauce from her fingers, shook her head. "Kids today, always with the crafts." A cousin yanked out her phone, started recording. Within seconds, the family group chat exploded. Laughing emojis. Real family. Right here. Mags and Ivy not even invited, lol. Classic. Ivy's lip quivered, a thin trickle of blood where glass had nicked her temple. I knelt, picked up a shard embedded with crushed petals. Saw her 5 months of late nights flash across that broken glass. Garrett turned back to his friends like nothing happened. I stood, phone already in hand, snapped a quick photo of the Audi parked askew on the lawn, his name on the title, my collateral. Then pulled up the latest mortgage statement in my banking app, $1,850 due in 4 days. I typed one line into the group chat, attached both images. "You're on your own. Everything stops." Phones buzzed around the tables. Garrett's head whipped toward me. "You're joking." I didn't answer. Ivy grabbed my sleeve and we walked out past the Edison lights. The gate clicked shut behind us. In the car, she pressed Kleenex to her temple, silent. I started the engine, tires crunching gravel. Garrett's shouts faded as we hit the arterial. Back home, I blocked the group chat. Ivy showered, emerged with butterfly bandages from the first aid kit. She set the broken shadow box on her desk, stared at it a long time, then opened her laptop and started a new design, something geometric, harder edges. No flowers. I logged into the bank, hovered over the auto-pay for Mom and Dad's mortgage. Finger paused, then clicked disable. Confirmation pinged, scheduled payment cancelled. That night, Garrett left 6 voicemails, first angry, then pleading. I deleted each one unheard. Ivy fell asleep with her desk lamp on, paint-stained brushes still in a jar. I sat on the couch, stared at the dark TV screen, and felt the first real quiet in 9 years. The next morning, Leland Foster emailed the official demand letter. Subject line, Notice of Default, Garrett Reed Loan. Attached PDF stamped red, 30-day cure period already 2 weeks burned. I forwarded it to the repo company Leland kept on retainer, same outfit handling foreclosures across King County. They confirmed pickup for 9 a.m. sharp, no extensions. I brewed coffee, watched Ivy tape the broken shadow box back together with epoxy. She didn't speak, just sanded the rough splinters where the frame had cracked. At 8:47 a.m., my phone buzzed with a live feed link from the repo driver. I clicked. Georgetown sidewalk, brewery sign swinging. Garrett paced out front in yesterday's flannel, yelling into his cell. The flatbed rolled up. 2 guys in high-vis vests jumped out. Garrett lunged for the driver door, repo man sidestepped, hooked the Audi in under 4 minutes. Chain clinked, winch whirred, SUV lifted like a toy. Tourists paused, phones out. Garrett chased the truck halfway down Airport Way before it turned the corner. Auction posted online that afternoon. Starting bid $32K, reserve none. Bids trickled in from Tacoma dealers, a collector in Spokane. Final hammer at $43K, wired to Leland's trust account by close of business. Deficiency balance, $52K, now unsecured. Leland filed the judgment lien against Garrett's future wages, standard procedure. I opened the banking app, scrolled to recurring transfers. Mom and Dad's mortgage, $1,850 due in 36 hours. Utilities, internet, another $380 combined. I hovered over each, thumb steady, then toggled off. Confirmation banners flashed green, cancelled. First time in 9 years, the chain broke. Garrett started calling at noon. First ring went to voicemail, his voice cracking against background noise of the empty brewery. Mags, we can work this out. Deleted. Second call, angrier. You're destroying everything I built. Deleted. By evening, 9 more, pleading, bargaining, threats about telling Ivy I was heartless. I let the inbox fill, battery died overnight. 3 days later, the landlord posted a 72-hour pay or quit notice on the brewery door. Garrett scraped together partial rent from Mac's credit cards, bought a week. Customers dwindled. Word spread on Reddit about the drama, the repo. Shelves sat half empty, fermentation tanks cold since power got cut for non-payment. Garrett tried pop-up sales at the Fremont Sunday Market, kegs of flat beer baking in the sun. Landlord changed the locks exactly 16 days after the notice. Garrett showed up with a duffel, found the chain, kicked the door twice, then walked away. I printed the auction receipt, slipped it into an envelope with the deficiency notice, mailed it certified to Mom and Dad's Ballard address. No note, just facts. Ivy asked if Grandma and Grandpa would be okay. I said they had options. She nodded, went back to painting a new canvas, harder lines this time. Leland called end of week. Judgment recorded. Garnishment ready when he earns again. I thanked him, hung up. Garrett's last voicemail time-stamped 3 a.m., sobbing, promising to pay triple if I restarted the mortgage. I cleared the queue, blocked the number. The house stayed quiet. No more auto drafts pulling at dawn. 4 weeks later, pounding hit the door at 12:40 a.m. Ivy bolted upright in bed, eyes wide, then scrambled into her closet, knees pulled to chest among hanging coats. I slipped out of my room, pressed against the hallway wall, pulse hammering as each knock landed like a sledgehammer on wood. The Ring app glowed on my phone, front porch feed live. Garrett swayed under the porch light, shirt half untucked, bottle dangling from one hand. He slammed the door again. You destroyed my life. His voice slurred through the panel, echoing down the quiet cul-de-sac. Ivy whimpered from the closet. I whispered through the crack. Stay put. Lock your door. She nodded, face pale in the darkness. Another bang, fist this time, rattling the frame. Garrett kicked the doormat. Open up, we are blood. The camera captured every stagger, every curse, timestamp rolling. I dialed 911, voice low. Intruder at my address, pounding door, intoxicated. Operator asked if we were safe inside. Yes, locked, camera recording. She dispatched units, ETA 5 minutes. Sirens approached fast. Garrett heard them, tried the knob one last time. 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing red-blue across the lawn. Officers ordered him back, hands visible. He resisted, arms flailing, until cuffs clicked. They loaded him into the back seat, bottle confiscated. One cop knocked gently. You okay? I opened a crack, showed ID. He reviewed the Ring footage on his tablet, nodded. We'll book him for disorderly. File the order tomorrow. Court clerk processed the restraining order by noon. 300 yards, no contact, effective immediately. Garrett signed under duress at the station, eyes bloodshot. First violation came 3 nights later. Unknown number, voicemail, breathing heavy, then hang up. Traced to a burner at a 7-Eleven. Police issued citation, $600 fine, 90 days suspended if no repeat. I ordered smart locks online, Yale brand, app-controlled, arrived next day. Installed myself, drilled into the frame while Ivy held the level. Deadbolt worked smooth, chime confirming. She tested the code 4 times, finger steady now. That night she left her desk lamp on, bulb casting soft glow under the door. Pattern held a full month, light on until dawn, closet door cracked open just in case. Garrett's mugshot circulated on next door. Delivery drivers recognized him, refused packages to Mom and Dad's old address. Ivy started therapy sessions through the school counselor, noted anxiety spikes around loud knocks. I attended parent night, learned breathing techniques to teach her. Ring alert stayed armed, motion zones tight on the porch. One evening, an unknown car idled across the street, engine off, driver silhouette. I snapped a photo, sent to police non-emergency. Turned out Garrett borrowing a friend's ride, violation flagged, another fine. Judge warned, next breach means jail. He stopped showing up after that. Ivy's lamp finally clicked off on day 33. She emerged for breakfast, hair tousled, smiled small. I think we are good. I poured cereal, nodded. The house settled into new rhythm. No midnight pounds, no unknown calls, smart lock beeping friendly each entry. Mom and Dad started showing up at the company campus during rush hour. Dad balanced on his cane, rubber tips squeaking on rain-slicked pavement. Mom clutched a laminated poster board inked in bold Sharpie, "Ungrateful daughter." 5:15 p.m., engineers in Patagonia fleeces and all birds poured out, some pausing to read, others lifting phones. A silver Tesla slowed at the curb, driver gawking. Security booth radio crackled. I watched the lobby monitor from a fourth-floor open workspace, HR already on Slack, gate incident, escort ASAP. I sent the external camera feed. 2 guards in navy polos stepped out, earpieces in, badges flashing. Sir, private property. Move to the public sidewalk. Dad straightened, voice rough from decades of Marlboro Reds. She's my kid, family matter. Mom shoved the sign higher, nearly clipping a passing cyclist. Guards flanked them, open palms guiding, no contact, just presence. They reached the property line. Verbal trespass warning delivered. Return equals criminal trespass. Dad grumbled about lawyers. Mom folded the sign, tucked it under her arm. They shuffled to their rattling 2006 Honda Accord parked across the street, engine coughing alive. I forwarded the clip to HR that evening. Legal counsel drafted a cease and desist on company letterhead, emailed certified to the Ballard address, mortgage still current then. Tracking confirmed Mom signed 3 days later. Subject line, cease all workplace contact immediately. HR filed a copy in my record, flagged for escalation. 6 weeks later, the bank taped the foreclosure notice in red on the front door. Autopay had stopped 2 months earlier. First cycle missed, second triggered default. Balance, $3,700 plus penalties. Dad left a voicemail at reception. Tell Magnolia her father's heart pills cost money. Forwarded to HR, added to file. I stayed silent. 90-day foreclosure clock began with court filing. Sheriff's deputy posted the yellow final notice, bold print, lockout imminent. Moving day arrived overcast. U-Haul idled in the cracked driveway, orange cord snaking to the garage for final boxes. Neighbors watched from behind curtains. Mom packed faded photo albums into plastic tubs labeled in marker. Dad directed from a folding chair on the porch, portable oxygen humming. By noon, the house stood empty, keys on the counter, blinds half drawn. New tenants, a young couple with a border collie, signed the lease that afternoon. Bank swapped locks, forwarded mail to general delivery. They checked into Motel 6 off Aurora Avenue, room 12, ground floor by the vending machines. $850 cash up front for 30 nights. No card accepted. Neon vacancy flickered through thin curtains. Mom posted publicly on Facebook. Daughter foreclosed on her parents. Pray for us. Tagged my work profile. I screenshot. Archived in HR. Dad's glucose spiked on vending machine pastries. Urgent care bill hit $1,400. Mailed collect to the motel. Garrett activated DoorDash on a cracked iPhone 7. Borrowed a dented 2009 Honda Civic from a poker buddy. Suction phone mount on dash. Red delivery bag in back. Orders sparse. Downtown poke bowls. late-night teriyaki. Tips averaged $2.50. Gas $45 daily. Net break-even. He reclined the seat in Fred Meyer parking lots. Dollar store blanket. Alarm for 5 a.m. runs. LA fitness trial lapsed when card declined. Security logged a second campus visit 4 weeks after the first. Mom solo. Smaller sign on printer paper. Help your parents. Arrived 5:20 p.m. Just inside the property line. Guards intercepted before exit rush. HR issued final trespass order. Copied to Seattle PD. Campus ban effective. Photo circulated to all posts. Dad tried my work email from the library. Bounced. Subject logged. You'll regret this. Motel manager knocked day 26. Extension due noon. Funds short after ER copery. They loaded tubs into the Accord trunk. Roped shut. Joined Garrett at the Fred Meyer overnight lot. 3 people. 2 cars. Windows cracked. Fog by dawn. Garrett ran breakfast burritos. Returned with hash browns and senior coffee. Mom scanned Indeed on a cracked Android. No cashier callbacks. I blocked all email forwarding. Rerouted to a P.O. box. Ivy asked once about grandparents over waffles. I said, actions have outcomes. She nodded. Painted a new canvas. Sliding panels. Geometric patterns. No glass. Security feeds stayed clean after the ban. No more signs. No more protests. 1 year later, a handwritten letter arrived from Garrett. Envelope postmarked Seattle. No return address. My name scrawled in shaky blue ink. Inside, 4 pages torn from a yellow legal pad, creased and coffee-stained. Mags. I was wrong. I see it now. The brewery, the car, the mortgage, everything. I took you for granted. Dad's heart condition got worse in the motel. Doctors say bypass surgery if we don't pay for the cardiologist. Please forgive me. One last chance. I read it at the kitchen island, morning light slanting through new plantation shutters. Ivy poured orange juice across from me, now 17, hair longer, voice steadier. She glanced at the pages. Uncle Garrett. I nodded. She pushed her glass away, waited. I folded the letter once, placed it back in the envelope, and slid it into the trash under yesterday's coffee grounds. That afternoon, I drafted a single postcard, plain white, no picture. We are no longer family. Mailed from the corner mailbox, no signature, postmark only. No contact proposed, no money offered, no phone number included. Garrett never replied. The letter went one way. We'd moved 5 months earlier. Quiet subdivision in Asaqua, craftsman-style homes, Japanese maples in the yard. New construction, 3 bedrooms, Ivy's room overlooking Lake Sammamish. Changed every number. Cells, work extensions, even the vet for the cat we adopted. Forwarding service expired after 90 days. Old emails bounced. Social media scrubbed. Profiles private. Connections severed. Ivy thrived in the new space. Art studio in the bonus room. Easel by the window. She painted a series of Pacific Northwest landscapes for her AP portfolio, entered regional competition, took first place. Trophy on the mantle. Certificate framed. Therapy ended after 8 sessions. Counselor signed off. Resilient. Boundaries solid. I advanced at the company. Principal engineer. Flexible hours. Equity package vested. Roxanne and I co-hosted virtual trivia nights. Kids in the background building forts. No more HR flags. No campus photos. Security feeds archived blank. Rumors filtered through distant cousins. Garrett still delivering. Civic on its last legs. Parents rotated between weekly motels. Food stamps approved. Dad's surgery postponed. Mom cashier at Dollar Tree. Name tag crooked. No contact attempted after the postcard. Ivy asked once during a kayak trip on Lake Washington, paddle resting across her lap, "Do you miss them?" I thought of the shattered shadow box, the pounding door, the laminated signs. I miss who I thought they were. She nodded, adjusted her life vest, kept paddling. Sun dipped behind the Cascades, sky orange and calm. Family isn't an ATM. Blood doesn't entitle endless withdrawal. When you stop giving, the masks fall. You see who stayed for love and who stayed for convenience. We built a smaller circle, tighter, real. Ivy's laughter echoed in the new house, paintbrushes humming creativity. Peace wasn't dramatic. It was quiet mornings, no auto drafts, no midnight knocks. The lesson stuck. Protect your peace like code, test boundaries, commit changes, deploy without regret.